What's up, Steel Ill Eliminators? I'm Quacker's Coat, and this is the fish fry for November 13th, being held at Fission Hydro Plant. Our cookware for this composition is the Luna Blaster, the Flingza Roller, the Splatana Stamper, and the Jet Squelcher. Fission is a tiny map, and its shoreline is in a panoramic view around it, so if you're not paying attention to what's spawning on all those locations, odds are something's going to sneak up behind you. So remember to practice all your different movement options that you have. When things start getting a little crazy on Fission, it helps to just have a little bit of an extra edge against your opponents. There's a lot of power in this composition too, so if you take it down to the shoreline, make sure you know some different ways of staying alive and getting yourself back up to those higher platforms. And fortune really does favor the bold here on Fission, with a lot of these options having us jumping right over the water. So try to keep your eye out for some options instead of just taking that damage. Especially on low tide, we have even more options on jumping over the water. And no matter what tide it is on Fission, Steel Ills are a very high priority target. And it's helpful to remember how much space there is on every stage's low tide. All of these areas are extremely paintable and have some quick ways of getting us to safety or moving the salmonids around to a better spot. So don't forget to use all of the space that you have here on low tide. And don't forget those pings. They can be used for more than telling people it's low tide. And during high tide, try not to get tunnel vision, keep an eye on those corridors on what's spawning. And if you're on a fish stick and you're targeted by a fly fish, you have a choice to make. Do you try to time out that armor so that you can block the missile, or wall jump off of it for just a little bit of extra safety? Okay, let's talk occurrences. During a glowflies wave, since we have the Flingza and can splat chum with its roll, make sure you post up right there on the corner of that platform, and only use slight movements forward to splat the chum. All the other weapons have a decent enough output that you should be able to clear it pretty easily. It's almost the same situation with the griller wave. Just make sure you do your part with the Flingza for that small fry control. During a fog, remember that we don't have as much visibility, but we still have the same hearing, and this game has fantastic sound design. So remember the sounds that all those different bosses make. It might help from letting something sneak up behind you. On a Cohawk charge, since all the weapons have really good mobility, it doesn't really matter which weapon is running eggs and which one's in the turret, but just make sure that one of you guys is definitely in that turret. During a Goldie Seek, we can use the same carbon roller trick that we used on Sockeye Station. Just position yourself in front of the Goldie, that way he's pushing you forward with him, and flick away. On a mothership, just keep in mind, after the first time the mothership comes by, you need to be on box control or else you'll be surrounded by lessers, and you won't be able to focus on collecting eggs. Mudmouth eruptions should be really simple since we have so much damage output. Just make sure you focus on taking out those golden mudmouths as quick as possible. And on a giant tornado, since we don't have any piercing damage, just make sure you don't stick around in the middle of the map once those salmonids start dropping. Alright, let's get into the cookware. Our first cooking utensil is the Luna Blaster. The Luna Blaster's paintability on Fission is great, and it will be helpful to run this weapon very aggressively, so remember to try to get in, cause that damage, and then get back out. This thing has really good at-foot painting, and all blasters do a great job at taking out stingers. Any form of extra height we can have on our enemies will make it easier to have that massive blast connect with more targets. Our second cooking utensil is the Flingza Roller. The Flingza's roll can help you for some quick mobility or to take out chum or small fry, but its vertical fling causes massive damage and it can give you a large amount of ink that you can swim through. And hopefully everybody's painting walls, that way you can focus on painting the turf. I've noticed that 3 flicks can cover up a flipper flopper zone, and don't forget to damage Cohawks before trying to roll over them. Our third cooking utensil is the Splatana Stamper. The Splatana Stamper was made for Salmon Run. This weapon has really good range, and its paintability is really good. Once you charge it up and use that vertical slash, it can take out multiple buckets of a stinger, and if you connect that slash with a Quahog, it can splat it. And its damage output with this normal horizontal slash can take out a Drizzler balloon, so if you have the Stamper, keep your eye out for Drizzler balloons. Try to make sure you utilize this weapon's range as well as its damage output when it's close up. Just be really careful. The Splatanas are really easy to make mistakes in Salmon Run. If you dash towards the front of the Scrapper, you will take damage from it. So for some of these enemies, whenever you're facing off against them, try to keep track of what your thumb is doing on that movement stick. So try to play this weapon as smart as possible, knowing when to use those horizontal slashes, the charge slashes, and that forward dash. But like I said, just be very, very careful. Fission has a lot of spots where you can find yourself taking a swim. Our last cooking utensil is the Jet Squelcher. The Jet Squelcher has a phenomenal ratio of damage to range output, and its wall paintability is incredible. There's only a few enemies that you'll really need to get down to the shoreline to take them out, so just like the other weapons, once you take something out, make sure you get yourself back up. You need to utilize this weapon's range more than its mobility. If you find yourself out of ink just trying to run away, then you won't be able to take anything out. The Jet Squelcher can be one of the best support weapons, and one of the best boss splatting weapons. On an extra wave, the Jet Squelcher and the Luna Blaster could probably do a good job at whittling away the Kohozuna's health, while the Flingza and the Stamper can focus on boss and lesser control. And always look for that spot right at the beginning of the extra wave, where you can use your special to not just cause damage to the Kohozuna, but also take out a bunch of bosses, spawning some golden eggs right there at the beginning of the wave. And the fish fry usually comes up before the stage rotation, so if you want to catch these updates when they're hot and fresh, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. And if you want other Grizzco employees to receive these tips, make sure you like and share the video. Bye-bye.
Don't